The Honest Garage Podcast, where real shop owners tell real shop stories.
Today on the Honest Garage Podcast, we're hanging out with a pair of guys who prove that do it right or don't do it at all can actually scale into a real business. We've got Ken Stafford and Chris Oatman from Next Auto Care in Highlands Ranch, Colorado. Next Auto Care is a full-service repair shop serving Highlands Ranch and the surrounding communities with what they call the next level of service, delivering outstanding customer service every day, one customer at a time. Ken spent nearly 4 decades in the body shop world, eventually selling his collision business and retiring, at least until his wife told him it was time to get out of the house. What was supposed to be a little boat gas money turned into the Next Auto Care, now 11 years in and known locally for doing repairs the right way, with a staff of seasoned techs and service pros. Chris came in a couple years later and now runs the day-to-day operations with a ton of trust and autonomy from Ken. Together, they've rebuilt the team from a clean slate, focused hard on culture, and built a shop that's not just a great place to get your car fixed, but a great place for techs and advisors to build a career. In this episode, we're going to dig into how a small side shop turned into a real business, how they think about hiring and culture, the extra touches they put into every car that leaves the lot, and where they still see opportunity, especially when it comes to telling their story online. Ken, Chris, welcome to the Honest Garage Podcast. How are you guys doing today?
Doing great.
Good, thank you.
That's awesome. I'm really excited to have you on today, and we want to start with the obvious question, I think, for some people out there. Why auto repair as a business instead of another auto body shop? What was the thought process there?
I couldn't open up another one with a no compete for 5 years. My wife couldn't wait that long to get me out of the house, so we just started up this small shop just to make a little extra money, not get bored. It's boring when you retire. I don't recommend that to anybody, really. You got to have something to keep you busy, playing golf, or you got to have a hobby. So don't sell your business without a good hobby sitting behind you. So I just wanted to work a little bit more, and the wife wanted me to work a little bit more. And the reason I opened this was because of the poor service I got with the collision shop. I needed a mechanic from time to help us out in the body shop for mechanical work. And I tried every shop within a 10-mile radius around here, and it'd be okay a couple times, and then the next time they would really mess something up. And it was a reflection of me on my body shop. It's there, we're fixing their car, and it's not right because the mechanic screwed it up and we didn't have anything to do with it. But we did have a real good quality control that we made sure it was done right before the customer got it back. And a lot of times ended up we had to do it ourselves.
Right.
So
you said something. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, you said something the last time that we talked on the prep call about needing boat gas money. Can you walk me back 11 years? What did it look like at Next, like in the early days? And when did you realize, okay, I can't just treat this like a hobby anymore. It's not a side shop. This is a real business. And talk to me about that transition.
I just realized there was a big need for this. And after we started taking care of customers, and the people just started coming in droves, just had to get more techs and more people and more advisors, and it just got crazy busy because we had all these cars to fix because we were fixing them, and it just turned into a real business.
Yeah. And I think that's, if you've been a business owner before, it's almost hard to put the brakes on intentionally. You know how hard it can be to grow a good business. And it sounds like it was almost like second nature for you when you opened up this shop to just go, I guess we're going to grow now.
I started the body shop out by myself 30-something years ago, and all by myself for about a year and a half before I even had anybody helping me. So I was doing it all. I worked 7 days a week for a couple of years to get that off the ground. And coming in the mechanic side, I wasn't a mechanic, so I had to hire mechanics. And I was looking over their shoulders, making sure they're putting stuff back together. And I hired a really exceptional mechanic to get us off the ground. He was a real good, he used to work on airplanes, so he's very organized. You got to be very organized to do that. He got us off the ground for the first 12 months. And then we slowly started growing after that, just adding a helper and whatnot.
Yeah, and I think that leads me, Chris, to you. Tell us about how you got to the shop. Where did your journey start within the industry, and then how did you get here?
So my I actually worked in restaurants prior to that. I actually was looking. I wasn't even really looking for a job. I was just searching on the internet one day, and I came across this post that said restaurant managers looking for something new or something worded like that. I applied for it and ended up being Greg Sands. He was opening up a branch of repair shops in Colorado called Service Street. So I actually worked for Greg Sands for about 10 years. I learned a ton. I got to work with a lot of exceptional technicians, advisors, upper management. But I think I got to a certain point where I felt that I personally needed to change. I had a good relationship with one of the guys that worked for the corporate side of that business, and he had left a few months prior to me deciding that I wanted to leave. And weird coincidences, Ken had got me in a cab, got a phone number from a cab driver that eventually linked him up with the guy that I knew, and then Ken and I met. And oddly enough, I lived 2 miles away from the shop, but it worked out. It's worked out great. It was a nice marriage, I guess. Maybe not marriage, for Ken to not marriage. Ken to bring me on board and to entrust in me that I was going to do everything I could in my power to run the business how he wanted his business for him. That's pretty much it. I don't know. That was very good.
Not sure. Not sure.
So
The
tell
right
me,
married. I don't know if the right word is partner or.
Yeah. But I guess long story. Yeah. So I mean, I got to a point to where I felt that I needed to change. I just didn't like the corporate side and the high pressure sales. I met Ken, and Ken really was just more about taking care of the customers and growing the business organically that way. And I was definitely more excited about that than what I had been doing prior to that. And Ken basically, in the sense, just handed me the keys and said, take care of the business, take care of the customers, and we've grown it from there. He said we just added piece from piece. You know what? For a long time, it was me, Ken, his wife Dolores, and a couple technicians, and now we've got 20 people. But we're still trying to grow. Just keep getting better and grow and improve every day.
so tell me about that beginning time a little bit, because I think we're going to have some listeners on the show that are in a service writer position or a tech position or coming into the industry from the outside. How do you build that trust? What did you do, Chris, on your end? And Ken, what did you see on your end that basically gave you guys both, from your points of view, the idea and the confidence to say, like, all right, yeah, Chris can take over kind of day-to-day operations, and Chris, I trust Ken enough to lead the ship. Like, how did you get there? Tell me a little more about that.
I'll let Ken elaborate more, but my simple one-line answer is what I remember this from my grandpa tell me from when I was younger is that do not do anything you wouldn't want on the front page of a newspaper. So I just want I want to earn everything that I get. I want to prove my worth, and I want to be a part of growing a business. And that was the reason why I didn't want to be in a large corporation. I didn't want to just be another number. I was all for helping the business grow and be successful. I just didn't want to be number 237 in that equation. I wanted a little bit more personable business, which is what Ken has grown here. Allows us to have good personal relationships with customers. I know I live right down the street. Ken lives right down the street. I see customers. I see 5, 6, 7 customers a weekend, every weekend. And it's always good interactions, which is what I'm looking for. I'm proud of what we do, and I just want to keep growing and getting better.
That's great. Ken, what did you see from Chris that gave you that confidence to hand the keys over and say, like, all right, man, take it, run with it?
It was a very stressful weekend for me. I had to get rid of one guy, and Monday morning, Chris coming in and taking over, he hit the ground running wide open and just took over and acted like he'd worked here for 3 years. It was just amazing. It just made it happen. He just knew what to do, very good with people. He's got a great attitude, and that really helps being a general manager of a shop, having a great attitude. He's got one of the best attitudes I've ever been around.
High praise there and a big smile from Chris. That's awesome, guys. I know when we talked on the prep call too, you guys mentioned that you both basically started over with staff once Chris came on board. Talk us through the process, and was that an intentional decision? Was it just organic and happened naturally? Walk us through that a little bit.
No, we just wanted things a certain way. So did Chris, and we started managing these people. And as mechanics really don't like to be managed, they want to manage themselves and do their own thing. So we started trying to manage because the business was growing. We had to manage a little bit, and they just didn't want to be managed. So he had a couple of guys in the background that he brought on, and that started the transition. And it was just me and him left after the dust settled. And then we had a couple new guys in the back, and we just built it from there. He's been working with these other guys for years and years. They're still in the back here. They're still working for us.
That's fantastic. And so, just for like maybe some other shop owners out there, what were some of the warning signs you saw, Chris and Ken, when during that transition time that it was time to kind of let some of these other guys go? And then, what are the new like non-negotiables that you put in place so that this new crew could be really up to what you were hoping for?
The non-negotiables, I guess, is that we're only fixing cars that need fixed. We're only recommending services that need to be recommended. We have a zero tolerance as far as anything to do with honesty and safety. Pretty much other than that, we can work around everything. Everybody can be trained. We can learn different things, but we have a technician, unfortunately, that if a technician were to lie to us or recommend things that didn't be needed, we would have to part ways with that technician. But if we have a technician that did something that would leave something potentially unsafe or leave a customer's vehicle unsafe, we would have to part ways with that technician. I'm sorry. Luckily, we have a very good group of technicians that most of our main guys are 20 plus years experience, but we don't have any technician back there that has less than 5, 6, 7 years of experience. And that's really the main thing, is just looking for good quality people. And then most importantly, I think, is looking for good people first and then talent after that. So
Yeah, it sounds like you guys are contributing to the tech shortage a little bit, or at least how it feels for everybody else, because you're keeping good employees and keeping them retained.
Yeah, we're trying to. Got a few people coming to us now, which is a little odd because we always had to chase them down and hunt them down and offer them more money than they're making, and to get them in here just to fill the void that we needed to fix a few more cars. The demand was been so heavy, but we're there.
What do you think has changed to make them want to come to you instead of you have to chase them? I know that there are a lot of guys in the industry who are probably listening to this right now going, "Yes, please tell me more. How do I get people coming to me?"
Not every shop in town has got a parking lot full of cars all the time like we do. We can park like 80 cars outside, and it stays full most of the time. The employees got to park out in the street because we got so many customers bringing their cars in, and they're just trusting us, and we're just trying to do the best job we can every day, every minute of the day to make sure we're taking care of their car correctly.
Yeah, and I think that there's an obvious part like with marketing and staying busy there where obviously good techs want to work in a busy shop so that they can do as much work and make as much money as they can. But I think you touched on something else there with the quality of the repairs and the honesty that you were talking about earlier, Chris, that I think really shines through in what you guys are doing. That's something that you see when techs are finding you now, that they have specific things they're asking you about because they've got friends there or something else.
as far as like how we operate,
Yeah, as far as like when techs are coming in, do you feel like they already know a little bit
yeah,
about your culture there and what you're trying to build?
yeah, definitely. Especially obviously as we've grown, we've added more people, right? This industry, although it is fairly big, is small, right? A lot of people know each other within this industry. And I think that we have a lot of experience in the shop. If you combine our service advisors, they've probably got over 60 years of combined experience. Our technicians, well over 100 years of combined experience. And we have a good reputation. Like, I personally would not want to, and I would not that I wouldn't want to, I would not work for a place that had a bad reputation. And I think everybody wants that, but I think really good A-level technicians, they are not going to want their name attached to any shop that has anything to do with that. That's obviously very important. And then, like Ken said, we're busy. We stay busy. We are very good at production, so we can turn a lot of cars to the shop. And we have a lot of added pieces that other shops don't have. We have a handful of guys on our payroll that do not even work on cars, physically do repairs. We have one guy that strictly does quality control stuff. We try to take our quality control process to the next level to prevent And we want to make sure the customer's car is given back to them better than when it came to us. Not just the repair, give it a little wipe down, make sure all the lights are working, top off their washer fluid, like all the small things that people take for granted and people overlook. And we're trying to make sure we do not miss those.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit more about that, because I know on a prep call we touched on this idea of a white glove service brought to an industry known for greasy hands. Tell me a little bit more about what that white glove service looks like at Next Auto Care.
So every car that we do a repair on goes through a quality control process where we obviously check safety things. Every car that goes through the shop gets the wheels torqued, we set the tire pressure, we check all the lights, we top off all the fluid, regardless of what we did. If the car comes in here for a tail light, we're going to do that same thing on that. But we just want to we want the customer to know that we value them and we appreciate them bringing their car to us. So we try to give it a mini detail is what we call it. So we do a quick vacuum inside, we wipe it down, we make sure there's no smudges on anything. If there's any small things that are missing, if there's clips underneath the hood that was maybe left off prior to another shop, we'll put those on. We're just trying to do anything small we can to make a difference.
Yeah. So I know when we talked on the prep call before, you had mentioned that white glove service, and tell me a little bit more about what that white glove service really means for you.
So we run every vehicle through a quality control process, or we go through it and verify the repair was done correctly and quality. We also do a quick safety check on the vehicle, torque the wheels, make sure the tire pressures are set, top off all their fluids, make sure there's no lights on the dash. But then we also go through and do a little mini detail on it, try to just clean up the inside of the car. So when they open up the door, it's nice and clean the wheels off. We do vacuum, wipe down the dash, we'll clean the wheels off, and then back it into a parking spot. So when they walk up to it, it's there, it's ready for them, they can hop into it and go. We just try to, a little trying to leave it better, return it to them better than what they brought it to us.
Yeah, and I think that's something that's really unique and really hard to quantify to a customer until they've experienced it for the first time, and they're like, "Wow, that was different." And I'm curious, Ken, was that something that you brought from the body shop side, or was that something that you brought in, Chris? Where did that idea come from, and has it been there the whole time?
In the body shop world, you get the cars dirty and dusty, so you got to do pretty much a detail on the vehicle when we're all finished doing all the body work, all the paint work, and all that stuff. So we basically did a detailed job on the vehicle, cleaned the windows inside and out, hand washed the car, we chamoised the car dry, and then we cleaned wheels. We just made it look like a new car again.
Yeah,
maybe not new, but a clean car. But we did that on everything, and we got so many comments from the customers all the time. If we had a bay where we could wash cars, we would do it here. We're just out of space here. But
yeah,
it was very gratifying to have somebody walk up to the car and say, "Man, my car hadn't been that clean in a year since the last time I wrecked it."
It's how often do they come in and experience how clean everything is and notice that before they notice the actual repair fix?
All the time. They're commenting all the time.
That's funny. I think people get used to, they think of their car as their second home a little bit, and they just become cozy and comfortable with whatever state it's in, and they don't realize what it could look like if they took a little better care of just the regular maintenance and cleaning on it.
And a lot of people, and not a bad thing, but a lot of people just don't know anything about cars, nor do they really care about it. They just want their car to take them to where they need to go. So a lot of repairs that are done on cars, people will drop it off and pick it up and it'll feel the same. Like if you're doing an oil leak, they don't feel anything or notice anything different. They just came in and paid $2,000. They pick their car up, they get in, it feels the same. So I'm trying to just add something in there to make the
experience a little more memorable.
Exactly. So
yeah, I think that's fantastic. And this is a big disconnect that I've noticed in the industry is, as shop owners, techs, and people in the industry, cars are our hobby and our means, our way of making a living. But for most of the customers, yeah, they're a tool to get from point A to point B. And I think what a lot of shop owners have a really hard time with, man, this feels obvious to me. Why wouldn't you do the regular maintenance on this thing? You love this thing. It gets you from point A to point B. It protects your family. but most people don't think about their car at all. And if they do, they only think about it when it breaks. I think that's a really interesting difference between somebody in the industry and somebody not. So shifting gears a little bit here, from the outside, I know you guys have absolutely incredible reputation and a really good story. And we touched on that a little bit at the beginning of this, but when you think about that next phase and that next phase of growth, what parts of the story and the people and the philosophy do you want most for in the future? What are you looking for most in this next phase of growth for you?
Just trying to get more people to realize that we're all service for your vehicle here. We just want to get the word out that we're going to take care of them if they show up from start to finish. We're going to greet them on the phone. We're going to greet them when they walk in the office. They're going to get the white glove treatment all the way through the repair, the follow-up, the call to say your car is ready to be picked up. We're just going to give them that extra step of customer service all the way through. The follow-up call to tell them what's wrong with their vehicle. We're going to call them back, and when we tell them we're going to call them at a certain time, we do it. It's just taking care of the customer from headlights to taillights.
That's great. Ken, that's great. Chris, is there anything you want to add about what you want to see in particular for growth for the future for Next Auto Care?
I just want to see the business to continue to grow. So I want everybody that's part of the business continue to get better and grow, and hopefully create more opportunities for other people out there to come be part of the team, and then also expand our reach within our community. Just try to get the word out there that we're here to fix your car and do our absolute best job we can, fix it right the first time, whatever it means.
Yeah, I think that's awesome, man. So one thing that we ask everybody that comes onto the show, obviously, we're the Honest Garage podcast. I own Honest Mechanic Marketing. The word honest means a lot to me, but I'm curious if it means anything to you guys. The phrase honest mechanic, honest shop, honest garage, what does that mean for you guys, and how do you apply that day to day?
So that's complete from the day I remember that I was on the earth, 5 or 6 years old. My dad would always tell me, don't lie to me. And if you're going to do anything, do it the right way or don't do it at all. So I've just grown up with integrity, and I'm not going to tell a customer a story about their car that's not true. It's going to be an honest mechanic opinion on their vehicle.
I think that's great. And you guys both mentioned in our prep call, do it the right way or don't do it at all. You both mentioned that separately. Is that something that is your mission? Is that a part of your values there? Is that something formal, or is that just language you guys both share from all the time working together?
That's just in my core. That's what my dad taught me when I was a kid in the body shop business. Said, son, if you're going to do anything, do it right or don't do it. There's no in between.
That makes sense to me. Chris, your take on Honest Mechanic, Honest Garage, Honest Shop. What's your thoughts?
I mirror what Ken said. I was raised with those same values that Ken had mentioned, but then coming to work for Ken and actually seeing somebody putting it in motion on a daily basis, every day, all day, was just eye-opening. It's just helped me become a better manager, better person, better father, better leader. So we're just trying to, I want to go out there and just do the right thing. There's so many cars break all the time, unfortunately. I know that, Ken knows that. No, there's no need to do anything unhonest. You can run a business 100% honest without doing anything that's not needed.
Yeah, and I think that's a unfortunate thing. There are a lot of people who do know that in this industry, but the unfortunate thing is that the reputation in the industry has taken a hit over the years. And I really appreciate having you guys here on the show to help take us to reshape that reputation and share some of the knowledge today. Again, just big thanks to you, Ken and Chris, for being on the show today. I really appreciate you a lot.
Thanks for having us on.
Thank you.
Yeah. So one of the things we like to do also is just give you the opportunity to tell people how they can stay connected with you or what's going on at Next Auto Care, or reach out if they have any questions to dive deep on any of the subjects that we talked about today where we didn't have enough time to really get into the meat and potatoes of some of it, what's the best way for them to do that?
Go to nextautocare.com. You can call us on the main line, talk to Chris or myself. We're an open book. We're very transparent. We'll tell you everything that we do here to make the customer a great experience. We'll talk to anybody. We just love sharing anything that we can help anybody with.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I really appreciate that. And I know we've got a few people on the show that are already interested in reaching out to some of the other guests we've had on here. I think that people could learn a lot from both of you guys. So thank you so much for sharing that. So if you got value from the conversation today and you want to share it with another shop owner, subscribe so that you don't miss future episodes. It really helps other honest shops find us, and it helps more people become aware of what we're trying to do to help reshape the industry that we all love here on the show. Also, if you need any help, obviously, with marketing, you can reach out to us at honestmechanicmarketing.com. Be happy to have a conversation with you there. And basically, that's going to wrap up today's show, everybody. Thank you all for listening. Thanks again, Ken and Chris, for being on. And as always, keep it honest in the garage.
I guess a little backstory for me, right? I don't have that automotive technical knowledge from the jump, right? I remember being 20 in Texas, living on my own, taking my car in to get fixed and having no idea of what was going on, whether what they were selling me was something I needed or didn't need, whether they were actually fixing it, how I could tell. Right. I remember really distinctly feeling very taken advantage of, not just then, but multiple times in between then and now. And the culture, I think, that we've tried to generate, right? We work with humans, so not everyone is perfect, unfortunately. Things happen. And so I want there to be a culture where somebody can say, I broke this part, oops, right? And we can replace that and move along and not put that on the back of the customer.